One of the biggest news over the week was the handling of Tan Sri Teong Piao's, the late Tan Sri Teong Piao's estate in Public Bank. There's been a key announcement and a key acquisition of LPI by Public Bank. But more on that later. Before that, we have something to tell you about Mumu.
Yes, so if you are a new Mumu user, you can actually get up to 40 ringgit by keying in our coupon code, not really coupon code, but our code FIRL24, and you can get a 40 ringgit cash voucher when you deposit 1,000 ringgit. And on top of that, there's a lot of more freebies over here that is listed on the picture over here, so you can just see it for yourself. And you also can get up to 3.5% annual return by just putting your money in this Cash
Not bad.
Plus program.
No strings attached.
Yes. So yeah, we'll go back to Public Bank.
So yes, recently this is the share price movement. The thing is, you can see Public Bank was already falling, beforehand, and there was a big week down. By Public Bank standards, that's very big. Because we have to remember this is a 70-80 billion ringgit company.
80 billion, yeah.
Correct. So, even a 5% drop is already, 4 billion, right?
Correct. So what's happening, right? I mean, I think you guys should already know, but we're just going to tell you the context on what is actually going on. So this is what's up. Two main things. Number one is they are buying 44% of LPI capital for 1.72 billion. Now, this number sounds very big, but if you actually put it in terms of a per share price basis, right, they're actually buying at around 9 ringgit and 80 cents per share. But during at the market price, it is actually around 12 ringgit.
Right?
Yeah, so it's like a 25% discount. So for LPI shareholders, maybe you might be unhappy about this, but for Public Bank shareholders, you might be happy if, let's say, this goes through. But the second reason why the market didn't like Public Bank is because of this. The Tay family is actually going to be selling off a lot of stakes in Public Bank. I believe right now the holding of this Tay family, they own about 23%. So they're going to reduce 13% over the next 5 years using this restricted offer for sales. So this offer for sales is actually not to the public market. They're just going to sell it to their employees, directors, and some eligible shareholders within the group. So yeah, basically there's a lot of selling activity going on for Public Bank. That's why the market is like quite spooked about this.
Yeah, and I find this very interesting because I don't think I've ever seen this happen before, where if you're interested in finding the next multi-bagger among small and hidden companies, then you need to check out our upcoming webinar happening on the 28th of October, 8:30 p.m. Links to sign up in the description or comments. They're divesting, but with the employees in mind. That's quite unique.
Yeah, correct. So right, this is also because of the grandfathering rule.
The rule, yeah. You cannot have more than 10%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you cannot have more than 10%.
So for context, the grandfather, so by right, individuals, there's no one entity that can hold
more than
10% of any bank, right? Except, I think Maybank. Maybank, there's one entity.
Yeah,
not one individual, right?
Yeah, but that was before the FSA, the Financial Service Act.
So, Public Bank was exempted from that because Tan Sri Tay, they preceded, right? They started the company before the rule. So they gave them an exemption through this thing called the grandfather rule. That states that, hey, it's okay for some people, but then going forward from that FSA, no more such a deal.
Yes, exactly. So and also she did mention that. By the way, the picture over here is the daughter of the late Tan Sri Tay. So they are going to be selling the shares at a discount
to the staff.
To the staff, yeah. But we don't know how much. What's the discount? So yeah, this is an interesting table by the age. Now you can see that majority of the banks are owned by government-linked companies. Especially for those local institution funds like EPF. And you can see that the final one standing is actually Hong Leong Financial Group.
In terms of not being owned
by the GLC yet. Yeah, so they still own quite a huge stake, about 61% by the Kwek family, or maybe Mr. Kwek himself. But the rest is all just EPF, as you can see that. Yeah, in the future, maybe even EPF stake in Public Bank may be increasing. Who knows, right? Yeah. So after this news came out, there's actually a mixed reaction. So number one, EPF, you can see that EPF actually disposed a little bit. I think this is the trading group.
Yes, and I also think it's maybe some of the outsourced fund managers.
Yes, yeah, it could be some of the outsourced fund. Yeah, so some of them are selling, but then there are other institutions who are quite positive about this news, and they are actually putting like a buy call. They say that this synergy between LPI and public bank will like improve
Are
public
they
banks.
secretly exiting?
earnings.
But what was the thinking behind the positivity?
It's just that they can tap onto these the general insurance that the LPI have. I think LPI also is quite quite high ROE, return on equity, and also it can contribute about around like 2 to 5%. It's not a big amount of profit contribution, but there is some positive contribution to public banks profit.
Right. Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out FIRL Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description.
So yeah, that's basically their take, and they just see it as a positive news, obviously for public bank because they are getting at a discount. So yeah, it's definitely a good news for public bank, but not so much on the LPI. Now, if you look at fund flow, this is in our FIRL Pro's fund flow. So if you want to get FIRL Pro, you can get 10% using the link in the description. But cumulatively, 2024, our retailers are the one that is selling off public bank. Local insti and foreigners are the one that bought, are the net buyers.
Yeah, there are a lot of retail investors that own public bank that have done well. I think they don't like this news a lot more than.
Yes, correct.
I mean, it's obvious, right? You can see here.
And if you look at I'll say the recent buy
foreigners
and sell,
selling,
foreigners are selling, but local insti are the one buying quite heavily. So this is some fun fact for you. Now, okay, so this table is basically showing you a few scenarios, assuming the Tay family sell public bank at a discount to their employees. It's a lot of things that is going on over here in this scenario, but I'll explain it one by one. So they're going to be selling off a 13.4% stake to reduce it to 10%, right? In public bank. Yes. And this is assuming that the share price of public bank actually stayed at 4 ringgit and 31 cents per share from 13 of October 2024 to 13 of October 2029. So you need to assume that 5 years, the share price didn't move. And this is a few share price that they can sell at because it's at a discount, right? 4.20 to 3 ringgit. And basically, this is the magnitude of how much will actually reduce in terms of their value. You can see that the range is actually not too big. It's just only 0.34% to 4%. So it's actually a very, very small drop in terms of like the entire value of public bank if you are doing this kind of scenario. But this one, there's a lot of assumption over here. You need to assume that the share price didn't drop at 4 ringgit 30 cents.
Yeah, and we also don't know what the discount is going to be.
Yes, and also we don't know.
Here you're just using about 20 cents.
Yeah, 20 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. Yeah, that's the worst case scenario to the best case scenario.
So basically, let's say your estimation, the worst case scenario is 3 ringgit. It means that the share price will decline 4% over 5 years.
Yeah. So it should be worth 4 ringgit and 13 cents.
It should be worth 4 ringgit
and 13 cents, okay. Which is about 4% drop from today's price.
Today's price, yeah. Because it's about 13%, right, of the shares up for sale. Yeah.
Correct. So there's a lot of assumption. So the truth is actually it actually doesn't really matter lah. I mean, I did so many like scenarios, right? Because end of the day, you have to look at the fundamentals of the company and also the market perception towards assuming LPI is adding into public bank's umbrella. So if that goes through, right, definitely their fundamentals will be better. They're unlocking more like monetization in terms of this LPI's insurance business. So at the end of the day, you can project how long you want and you can think of what is the discount, but end of the day, the magnitude of value loss is so minuscule that it actually don't really matter. It's very insignificant. Yeah, so that's about it. And these are the few takeaways. I believe that there are some public bank shareholders are thinking whether to continue to wait or maybe to buy. In my opinion, I think if let's say you like LPI's business synergy or adding it into public bank's business segment, right? I think maybe, who knows, if you are already a public bank shareholder, maybe you can perhaps wait for a while. Whether if you want to buy, well, that one, it depends on what you think the valuation for public bank is in your own estimates. But for me personally, I'm just going to be sitting on the sideline because public bank, I mean, what more can public bank grow, right? Like how much more can they grow in the future or in the next 5 years? Is it possible that they can grow 2 times or 3 times their value at the moment? I don't think so. But that's just all my view. What's your take?
Yeah, the big question would be whether you trust or how confident are you in the system that Tan Sri put into
Bank.
public bank, whether it
Yes.
will retain
Yeah.
over time.
Yes.
Because one of the great things about public bank is it's a well-oiled machine. The people that work there are fiercely loyal, in my opinion, because it there's no like dynamism in public bank. It's not like let's say a CIMB, right? The people who join there are essentially just one very clear career pathways with fair and even above average compensation. Which I mean, I know public bank staff don't get above average compensation, but the reason why people like public bank is because you go in, they tell you what to do, and you just do the thing, and job done.
Yeah, it's
right?
a safe and secure job.
Yeah, so people like that, and there will always be a steady stream of employees or people who want to work in this kind of format. But you know, the public bank may have to go through some sort of change in the future. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And this obviously can cause disruption. So it really depends on the group of leaders, not just which is the next one, right? Which is Tan Sri Tia Lek, who replaced Tan Sri Tiong Piao. The succession, right?
Yeah.
Who is going to come in, and are they going to maintain the system? I think that is the key. I think, you know, for at least the next generation, call it 25, 30 years, I think the answer is yes. But pairing it to your point, if they maintain the system, doesn't mean that the share price is going to grow a lot. Now, of course, it depends on where you are. I know some of you watching this probably had public bank shares, you know, ages ago. Today, maybe like what you paid for the public bank share is like the dividend you receive is like half of what you paid for the public bank shares, right? So in that case, I think it makes more. If you're confident in the system, then it makes sense to just hold on and continue to collect the dividends. Maybe even reduce a little bit of your average cost now that the price is a bit down, because we know that, you know, LPI. I mean, it's a small acquisition, all right, in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
So, but then if you have no money and you're looking in no money in the stock, and you're looking at the stock right now, then I think it's much less attractive, because your cost would be today, right? Not 20 years ago or 10 years ago.
And the uncertainty will be, just now I want to mention, is the successor of this current CEO and also their core team, because at the moment they are the one that is running the show of public
And
bank.
Tan Sri is I think above 70, touching 80 already.
Yes,
or
correct.
maybe he's really 80, I'm not sure, but he's old, he's past retirement age.
Yeah.
If you're interested in finding the next multi-bagger among small and hidden companies, then you need to check out our upcoming webinar happening on the 28th of October, 8:30 p.m. Links to sign up in the description or comments.
So what is next right now is that assuming if let's say Tan Sri Teh decided to retire already, what's going to be happening to the core team? Would they stay at public bank, or would they like follow the core team and then leave together? So from our discussion with our research team, we found out that assuming this core team actually leave, right, public bank most likely is going to become like a GLC already, government linked company, just like when RHB actually also lost their grandfathering rule, and then the core team actually just basically went out lah when the key person actually left the company. So there's this uncertainty what's happening around with the management team, and that is something that you need to take account for when you actually analyze public bank, whether you think the next generation can run the company well or not.
And whether the culture will stay intact, because with the GLC comes in, there'll be probably a newer culture. I think if a GLC comes in, the risk appetite will increase.
Yes.
Mainly because it's not their money. The reason why public bank has done so well, and of course even you can say Hong Leong, is because it's their money, right? So a risk aversion, which is a important trait for bankers, will be there. But if a GLC comes in, the fear is that there will be higher risk appetite.
Okay, so the final one is potentially maybe there will be LPI, a special dividend. So this maybe it is a good news for LPI shareholders, right? I mean, you're getting like a 25% discount, but then they're rewarding you with a 19% dividend yield.
Yep.
With this potentially selling of stake in this public bank. So LPI, they have about 1.1% stake in public bank, which is worth about 972 million, and this will translate to about 2 ringgit and 44 cents per LPI share. So yeah, this one maybe it will kind of negate off the discount, but we shall see whether the special dividend will actually come about. So yeah, that's about it for today's video. And don't forget that we will be having a webinar on secrets to finding 10x small cap stocks coming on 28th of October, Monday, 8:30 p.m. And there's a free registration. The link will be in the description and comments. But anyway, if you want to know about FIRL's performance, here are the results for September 2024. It is about 43%. Catalyst 12.48%, and boring portfolio, which is our dividend portfolio, it is up 8.15%.
Yes.
And if you want to see how we actually do our write-ups, basically this is all inside FIRL Pro, how we analyze companies, businesses, management, risks, all of these are inside the write-up, and it only takes you like less than 15 minutes to actually read about a company. And also, you need to know that we will be increasing FIRL Pro's price to 597 at the end of October. So right now it's 557. It's going to be $40 expensive. So make sure to take advantage of the 10% coupon, and you can get it for 501 USD. And if you want to know how we write our reports, we have a free sample for you as well. The links will be in the description and comments
Check it out.
below.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hope to see you in the webinar, and we'll see you in the next video.